Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of rebuilding my McLaren 765LT. Today's video we're going to get into some carbon work. We're going to start putting the fronts together and hopefully drive it for the first time. Now what you see in a few of the other YouTubers when they rebuild their McLarens and they do some carbon work, I don't think they really go into too much detail about how that's done, so I'm going to show you some photos and some videos of how our guys do it over here. So with that, here we go. So the first thing they do is ultrasound it. I haven't seen that on the other YouTube videos before. Here you can see sort of where it's delaminated. They cut a slice off, you can see the line right through the middle here. And then we go on to exactly what is going to be repaired. We were quite lucky. All the damage was contained to within the red line to the front, and the rest is just going to be some patching. From the top, you can sort of see the same, just a little bit of damage that the ultrasound showed. The other thing we did is dye tested the aluminium insert just to make sure that there are no bends or cracks, and that it's in perfect condition to put back in. And then, but then the repairs start.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, spot on. Yeah. Get on.
Power steering.
There's a box in the truck as well that goes with the seat.
And here we go. All back. That's the new one. That's the original. New one looks much better. Yeah. So now we try and figure out what to do next. Now this part I thought was interesting because no one else has really talked about it, but it's how the part numbers work with McLarens. So as you can see, everything has a part number that's sort of either model specific or generic. So for example, if you see an RP, then it is model specific. If you, I'm showing it here on the steering rack, it's the old steering rack. You can see it here as well on this pipe. You'll see that's an RP. And then though, if you look at this pipe here, you'll see it ends in a CP, which means that it's interchangeable. See all my parts, some of them anyway, ready to go. Brackets. Whoa, look at this. Isn't this cool? I put these together, hopefully right. More bits and pieces. Very exciting. So this is a new subframe, well, second-hand subframe, but you know what I mean, because the last one got crushed. So the carbon fibre guy actually screwed it on, and you can see he's used random bolts. Just had what he was lying around. So I've got this jack thing, so today I'm going to lift it up and take off the subframe, just so I can figure out how to do the steering rack and try and sort out what to do with all these pipes. Yeah, so I don't know if it's level or good, or I guess what I'm supposed to look at. Yeah. Then I tried putting the car up on the quick jack system. Oh, it's not really coming up level, is it? In fact, why is it leading back? Okay, it's clearly a problem. Right, look floor of my plan. Right, let's see. No. Okay, what have I done wrong? Oh, oh, look. Look. No way. Okay, I gotta go check everything. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah. Sweet. Good morning. Just showing you, see, I've got this thing all up on the ramp now, and I got the steering rack out, and I can see that there's a little thing there with a white mark, which I think has something to do with the steering wheel. Then I've just got these pipes. Mate, I have no idea what these pipes are for. I can see these ones are probably for coolant, and I've got replacements of that, but this one, what's this pipe? And it doesn't look bent, but does it somehow go into here? I don't know, but it's pretty solid. Well, what's this one? This also looks solid, and this one looks solid, but I don't know where it goes. Wow, it goes nowhere. So don't know if everything looks completely fine, like it's not bent, so I just don't know where they go. bit of an update. I got a bit enthusiastic and started working on things, but what? Oh, hold on. No, not follow. Okay, here we go. So here's showing you some parts and how it goes together, so you can use it yourselves. So let's start along there. And the main thing to note is that the one that goes to the top of the radiator goes to the bottom pipe back there. The bottom pipe comes out and up to the top. Siren, horn bracket. Now, things to note, really should have fixed this in before installing these radiators, so that's a trick. Power steering pump here, so there's a bracket. See how that bracket goes here, see? Bracket there. Right, that is for the bonnet. This is for the lights, which we'll show later on. Steering rack. Now, one thing we do need to figure out is where all these wires go. That's the is it CCU? I think if this is a CCU bracket, and that's the power. But what we'll do is in another video we'll figure out where all these earths go, and this is just sitting in here for now. Later on I'll figure out how to do that properly as well. Now, on the side here, note these shims. So there's 3 on each side, so make sure that you don't forget them like I did. On the steering rack, I highly advise that you actually fit the steering rack when the subframe is off, because I did that wrong and it was almost impossible to get on. Same with the clips for the hoses, so definitely do those before putting your subframe on. That's the hoses and the steering rack. There's a thing called an intermediate shaft in there, and that's what you need to connect. So undo it from the inside, and that's it. And that's this part again. Random shot. Now, unfortunately, I deleted some footage of me and my nephew Dom putting some panels on the car, so you're going to have to make do with this static photo. Doesn't look good. And then we drove it for the first time. And that's it for episode 2. Join us next time when we go into some of the carbon work and more fitting of panels and a lot more wiring and pipes on the front. Thank you for watching.